From unknown ancient species to UFOs and entities from another world.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh, what is that?
Each new finding is trying to change how we see our world.
A dinosaur has been found in Missouri.
It's also a new genus species never uncovered before.
So join us to watch these most disturbing discoveries that have scared scientists.
The fossil of a 32-foot-long sea dragon. Well, it was found in the UK.
Scientists have unearthed a 100-million-year-old dinosaur fossil in WA.
Scientists in Western Queensland made an incredible discovery of a 100-million-year-old dinosaur fossil. The fossil belongs to an Elasmosaurus, which, if you don't know, is a marine reptile that once swam through Australia's ancient inland seas. What's truly special about this find is that it's the first fully intact Elasmosaurus ever discovered. Previously, only partial remains of this dinosaur had been found, but this complete fossil provides a clear view of the creature's entire structure. What's even more fascinating is that the Elasmosaurus lived during the Cretaceous period. Knowing Australia, it won't be long before a whole colony is unearthed.
A juvenile will be taken to the Museum of Tropical Queensland, that's in Townsville, for further analysis. Big ups to science there. Well done.
Ancient tombs.
Listen, Molly.
Tell me.
I'm very happy, I'm very proud of this discovery.
Archaeologists have found something extraordinary in tombs of Egypt. They carefully unsealed the first coffin. Inside, they found a perfectly wrapped mummy, the fabric still intact, with a small part of the skull visible. But this was just the beginning. There were 12 coffins, all preserved in the same way. Yes, you heard that right. 12. In total, 30 coffins were uncovered, all hidden away to protect them from thieves and the harsh elements.
Look at the edges of the leaden base.
Yeah.
No missing pieces. It means no termites, which is the termites, they were the most dangerous.
Termites love wood.
Love what? Of course.
The vibrant colors of blues and greens on the coffins were still visible, and experts believe that these mummies were likely priests, powerful figures in their time. The site is active, and much remains to be uncovered.
Those mummies were found almost right in front, just a few hundred yards that way, but the entire thing is basically an active excavation site. Check it out over there, and archaeologists say they haven't even found half of what might be buried here.
Sea dragon fossil.
Try to picture this. The fossil of a 32-foot-long sea dragon. Got it? All right. Well, it was found in the UK.
How about this find? In the UK, a 32-foot-long ichthyosaur fossil, also known as the sea dragon, has been discovered. And what's crazy is that it's the largest and most complete of its kind found in the country. Ichthyosaurs were large marine reptiles that looked a bit like dolphins, but could grow much larger. Some reached lengths of up to 80 feet, far bigger than any modern dolphin. They got their nickname sea dragons because of their big teeth and eyes. This amazing fossil is estimated to be around 180 million years old. The size and completeness of this find provide valuable information, and scientists expect to find more of these. Mysterious discovery.
It seems more likely that this is a baby.
While surveying in Carcass, Peru, a geologist found two elongated skulls buried together. One skull belonged to a baby, about 1 or 2 years old, and the other to an adult, likely the mother. According to the researcher who found it, the delicate craftsmanship of the material binding the skulls hinted that they belonged to a royal family. The baby's skull showed signs of early elongation, suggesting that the practice of shaping skulls began very young. While some believed these skulls were the display of our ancestors' unique features, others had ideas that these skulls belonged to extraterrestrial entities.
It's probably 1, maybe 2 years old, and this is the mother.
Missouri's first dinosaur.
Well, for the first time ever, a dinosaur has been found in Missouri.
It's also a new genus species never uncovered before.
Everyone remembers their first, Dinosaur Discovery. And so does Missouri. The boring state has made this groundbreaking discovery with the unearthing of its very first officially recognized dinosaur species. And the best part? This new dinosaur is a previously unknown genus and species. Who said you can't have fun in Missouri? This fossil measures between 25 and 30 feet in length. And it's actually a duck-billed dinosaur. After being carefully excavated, the remains were transported to the Santa Genevieve Museum Learning Center, where the find is being studied and shared with the public. This discovery not only introduces a new species to the world, but also places Missouri on the map for paleontology.
I eventually talked to Pete Makovicki, who's the curator of dinosaurs at the Field Museum, and said that we thought we had dinosaurs, or I knew we had dinosaurs. Anyway, he come down and looked, and he goes, yeah, you guys got dinosaurs.
Mystery object.
Oh, so we were asked to pull over by the police because there's a wide load coming in the middle of nowhere.
In the Nevada desert, something strange was seen cruising down the highway.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what is that?
It was a gigantic, high-tech object strapped to the back of a speeding truck. The thing was so huge and futuristic, it had people thinking it might just be part of a spaceship. Onlookers couldn't help but wonder what this mysterious cargo was. As the truck zipped through the barren landscape, curiosity skyrocketed. Was it some secret government tech? Alien gear? Whatever it was, it sure sparked a lot of wild theories.
Okay, he said we're good.
Lake appears. In the heart of Tunisia's scorching desert near Gaza, something unexpected has emerged. A mysterious lake, and it's got researchers talking. You have to realize that the temperatures soar past 100 degrees here, so this is kind of a huge miracle. Locals have been flocking to this new oasis. When it first appeared, the lake was a crystal clear blue, but now it's taken on a murky green hue, probably from algae growth. Still, that hasn't stopped anyone from taking a dip to cool off in the desert heat. Some say seismic activity might have pushed groundwater to the surface, while others point to climate change. But the true source of this oasis remains a mystery. Dubai Desert River. Residents near the Dubai desert were astonished when they heard the sound of rushing water in the distance. Curious and excited, they headed towards the noise, and a large river had suddenly appeared in the middle of the desert. It was flowing rapidly and was much bigger than anyone expected. People began wondering if this was the end of times. But before more theories could circulate, experts jumped in, explaining that an unusual event in such a dry region could be due to climate changes or other environmental factors. Bubbling sand. In Gaza, there is something strange going on. The sand has started bubbling up. Naturally, this has everyone buzzing with curiosity. What does that mean? Some think it's a weird side effect of climate change, which has resulted in stirring up the ground in ways we've never seen. Others are wondering if something is going on beneath the surface, with natural processes or even mysterious creatures causing the bubbles. Whatever the reason, it's turning the sandy landscape into a fascinating wonder. Baby skull. Back in 2018, in Peru, archaeologists uncovered a really interesting find: a baby skull.
The mouth is incredibly tiny, and the eyes appear to be quite large.
This discovery comes from the Carcass culture, which existed along the Peruvian coast between 800 BC and 100 AD. The skull, which was still wrapped in cotton, is believed to belong to a newborn or a baby, up to 3 months old at the time of its demise.
If it died at childbirth or 3 months old, that it is at least twice the size of a normal Homo sapiens sapiens,
What stands out about this skull is its unusual size and shape. Even though it belonged to a very young baby, the skull is much larger than typical for its age. It has a tiny mouth and large eyes. The hair on the skull is a dark red, which is unusual compared to the black hair common among Native Americans. This red hair might indicate that the baby was part of the ancient Carcass culture, who were known for having lighter skin and red hair.
We look at the back. Again, you see that the vertebral column and spinal cord enters way into the back of the skull. This is not normal in terms of Homo sapiens sapiens, or us.
Spoon trick.
Yeah. It moves is the same, it's a pattern.
In Egypt, a man caught the attention of onlookers with a curious trick. He carefully placed 2 spoons between some rocks, and to everyone's amazement, the spoons started moving up and down on their own. The crowd watched closely, puzzled by what they were seeing. Some thought it might be a simple gravity trick, while others wondered if there was something more mysterious going on. Could there be an unseen force at work? No one could quite figure out the reason behind the movement.
What's the danger now? For the counterfeit, not so as not to preserving.
Ancient giant crocodile. Ancient crocodiles weren't just lurking in swamps, they were making a big splash in history. Federico Fanti and his team in southern Tunisia stumbled upon a croc fossil so massive the head alone is longer than your average sofa. This 130-million-year-old marine crocodile, discovered in the winter of 2021, is rewriting history books. This predator was thought to have gone extinct way earlier. It turns out these ancient giants stuck around 25 million years longer than anyone guessed. As the team uncovered more of its gigantic body, they couldn't believe just how much this discovery challenged the old theories. Apparently, these crocodiles weren't just surviving, they were thriving, and this fossil proves they weren't in any rush to go extinct. Ancient skeletons.
Here we have Ken, and here we have the fetus baby.
Forget your average museum exhibits. At a small museum near Lake Titicaca in Bolivia, 2 intriguing skeletons have been examined. A radiologist suggests that these remains might belong to a mother and her child, both who possibly passed away around childbirth. Among the findings is a fetus, which is estimated to be 7 to 9 months old, with a distinctly elongated head that could mean that ancient people might have had naturally elongated skulls. But one of the most famous theories was that the skeleton might belong to an alien.
I believe it's a young female who didn't die from trauma, and based on the skull, there certainly are a lot of human features, but it has an elongated skull, and so the question is that a genetic variant, or is that something that is non-human?
Whale secret.
Look at this. Can you see the shark teeth? Look at that. Yeah.
Whale bones in the middle of the desert. Talk about getting seriously off course. The Valley of the Whales in Egypt stretches over 200 square kilometers and is a treasure trove of ancient whale fossils. Nearly 1,000 have been uncovered so far. You can even spot vertebrae and skulls poking out of cliffs, as if these giants got stranded in time. Paleontologists believe the desert used to be a deep ocean, but some scientists think it was once home to crustaceans like crabs. Either way, one thing's clear. This now scorching desert was once underwater, and these ancient fossils tell the story of when whales ruled the waves right here.
This is a vertebrae right here.
Yeah, and I think if we move that way, right here, this is the very tip of the skull.
Elephant mouse. In the African desert, researchers have come across a fascinating creature that looks like a mix between a mouse and an elephant. The newly discovered species is an elephant shrew with some interesting features. This small mammal has a furry body, a long tail, and a trunk-like nose, which makes it quite unique. Though it's about the size of a mouse, its nose gives it an elephant-like appearance. The shrew moves quickly across the desert, using its long snout to search for food. This tiny, yet incredible discovery has excited the scientists, as they are now planning to expand their research in those deserted lands.
And I noticed that there were some differences that didn't make sense.
When we sequenced the DNA and looked at the characters a little bit more closely, we said, this thing is really different.
Chinese dinosaur. Now here's some exciting news from Yunnan province, China. Recently, 2 sets of dinosaur fossils from the Jurassic period were found, dating back over 180 million years. The first set has been identified as Lufengsaurus magnus. This fossil, which measures 5.3 meters long, includes several vertebrae and complete hind legs. The dinosaur is believed to have been about 9 meters long in total.
The fossil we've retrieved is about 70% complete. It was buried in a stratum that dates back to the early Jurassic period.
What's even more fascinating is that around 70% of this fossil is well preserved, giving scientists valuable information about dinosaurs, their environment, and climate from that time.
We found some fossil pieces during our road maintenance work. We've changed the course of the road to protect the site.
Moving carcass. In the scorching Sind Desert, scientists came across a creature that looks like a mini snake, but packs a punch far beyond its size. Known as Bougainville's skink, this lizard-like serpent is not venomous, but its bite can cause pain and irritation. Although this one here was lifeless, it was still moving its tail. Turns out, like snakes, members of the Cincidae family have the ability to move even after their demise. In this case, the skink was moving its lower half, likely as a defense mechanism to scare off its observer. Screaming hole. Two friends were exploring the desert when they stumbled upon a mysterious, abandoned hole covered by rocks and sand. Excited by their find, they decided to see what was inside. They removed the bricks and looked into it. Before they could further inspect what was inside, they heard terrifying screams. Scared, they managed to run back as they didn't want to become the victim of that screaming creature. Was there some underground animal living there, or a demon was trapped inside? Diamond-shaped UFO. Imagine standing in front of the majestic Egyptian pyramids, only to look up and spot a diamond-shaped UFO hovering above. No, that isn't part of some sci-fi movie. This actually happened when thousands of people witnessed this mysterious craft spun and floated in the sky. It was like the thing was doing some kind of survey. Phones were out in seconds, capturing the surreal scene as the UFO performed its smooth maneuvers. And the interesting thing is that this all happened against the ancient pyramids, which are already said to be made by aliens. What do you think is happening here? UFO sighting. It's not every day you head out for firewood and stumble upon a UFO instead. That's what happened to one guy in Toronto. And let's just say, things got weird fast. While collecting some logs, he noticed something shiny on the ground. A UFO just casually parked in the woods. What was it doing there? Maybe the alien inside was looking for a toilet. But seriously, it is quite weird. Naturally, he did what any of us would do, hide behind a tree and start recording. Things got even crazier when an alien-like figure strolled out, took a casual look around, and hopped back into the craft. Before he knew it, the UFO was zooming off into the sky and left the man with the ultimate video proof of his extraterrestrial encounter. The Utah Monolith Mystery.
It's landed. We're going to find the big monolith.
Just when you thought your day couldn't get any weirder, In this next video, our hero videographer found a 12-foot metal monolith in the middle of nowhere. This happened in November 2020 in Utah's Red Rock country. While state wildlife workers were busy checking on bighorn sheep, they stumbled upon this bizarre structure that looked like it had been dropped from another planet, or at least from an alien art show. Naturally, the monolith sparked a global interest. Was it a message from extraterrestrials? Or maybe just a really big piece of modern sculpture? Months later, the truth was unveiled. A group of anonymous artists had set up the monolith as an art installation.
They took these stainless steel panels and they basically just riveted them together with these inner, probably gussets or something. The middle of it appears to be hollow.
Peruvian mummies. A Mexican journalist and UFO enthusiast revealed two tiny mummified bodies, claiming they could be one of the most important discoveries in human history. Discovered in Peru in 2017, the bodies are claimed to be around 1,000 years old and not related to any known species on Earth.
It is the most important thing that has happened to humanity because it's the opportunity for us to evolve, for us to grow.
Many scientists, however, think they are a hoax, saying there's no solid evidence to support Maussan's story and the bodies were probably put together by someone. But when the remains were studied in detail, one thing became clear: that they were not assembled together and were part of one single body. Could this be proof of alien existence? Let me know what you think.
Scientific analysis and data studies actually were done on a different body that remains in Peru.
Bigfoot Spotted.
It's a creature. Alright, just squat it down.
On a train ride through southwest Colorado, passengers had an unexpected experience. As they traveled through the scenic landscape, they caught sight of the incredible Bigfoot. The elusive creature was seen running across the open land. This giant figure was covered in dark fur and moved quickly. Many tried to capture the moment on their phones. The sighting quickly became the hot topic among travelers, and not one but many saw this, which makes the sighting very authentic. Imagine a Bigfoot sighting being the highlight of your trip. Now that is some story.
Let me see your camera, I'll do it.
Ancient mummies in Peru. Peru's mummies aren't just a historical treasure. They are also a testament to some seriously dry weather. Thanks to ancient civilizations and their belief in life after passing away, Peru boasts the largest number of mummies in the world. They buried their deceased with personal belongings, convinced of an afterlife. The coast's arid climate was perfect for preserving these mummies, with the Peruvian desert's dryness keeping them remarkably intact. However, not all of these ancient remains are where they belong. Some mummies have been stolen and are now used in rituals by sorcerers and healers who believe in their potent powers. Kaja Marqua mummy. Ever wondered what happens when you mix ancient mysteries with a bit of drama? Well, Lima's archaeological team got a front row seat to just that when they uncovered the mummy of Kaja Marqua. And trust me, this isn't your average dusty old find. Found just 15 miles east of the city. What makes this find strange was that the mummy of the young man, aged between 18 to 22, was bound with rope and buried with his hands covering his face. Dating back between 800 and 1200 AD, the mummy is at least 800 years old. The burial method is also quite fascinating. The mummy was placed in a conical-shaped underground structure, which is a burial practice typical of Peru's high Andean region.
Bueno, lo diferente es justamente la forma de enterramiento, subterránea, de forma casi y que se caracteriza pues por estar amarrado. Al parecer sería un patrón de la región altoandina del Perú.
Alien remains. Did you know aliens have been found vacationing in the Andes? And geologists might just have stumbled upon their secret hideaway. While exploring underground tunnels in Peru's Andes Mountains, they uncovered a hidden network of ancient galleries. Inside, they found something really exciting: alien-like remains. These mysterious bodies were preserved in stunning detail and featured large black eyes and were adorned with strange symbols in an ancient language. The markings on their heads and bodies made these beings all the more mysterious. The exceptional condition of the remains hints at either incredibly advanced preservation techniques or ancient methods long forgotten. Alien-like skeleton. Recently, a tiny skeleton was discovered in Chile, measuring just 6 inches. The find sparked a frenzy of speculation, with its large, oddly shaped head and only 10 ribs, instead of the usual 12. In 2013, scientists from Stanford University took on the challenge, performing a full genome analysis. The results were jaw-dropping. They found 64 unique genetic mutations never seen before, affecting everything from cell growth to bone density. But the real twist? Researchers from the University of California, San Francisco, confirmed that the skeleton did indeed belong to an alien. Well, at least as close as we've come to proving extraterrestrial life. Alien-like hand. In January 2016, a fascinating find emerged from the Peruvian desert, a hand that some believe might belong to an alien. The pale white hand immediately captured global attention. It even had 2 metal rings embedded in it, adding to the mystery. This hand is quite different from human hands. It has 5 phalanges on each finger, while humans typically have 3. Researchers checked for fingerprints, but modifications to the hand might have removed any traces. The desert conditions, known for their natural mummification effects, helped preserve the hand. Mummies of Nazca. In the spring of 2017, researchers started investigating 3-fingered mummies discovered in Nazca, Peru. Initial tests on the largest mummy's unusual hands showed no signs of a hoax. The largest mummy was identified as female and was carbon dated to be about 1700 years old.
Of course, very important head. It was not our rounded skull, but it was very protruded skull.
Although it looked humanoid with all the necessary features, the 3-fingered hands made it mysterious. Scientists are now busy comparing the mummy's DNA with both modern and ancient human records to uncover more about their origins.
And we are currently getting all of the information from the CAT scans analyzed.
Could somebody have gone in here and they did something with the skull to change it, they did something with the hands to make it have this appearance?
Snow in Sahara. Have you ever heard of snowfall in a desert? I'm sure not. So let's take a look at this masterpiece. The Sahara Desert, which is usually known for its intense heat, had an unusual surprise in January 2018. In the town of Ain Sefra, at the edge of the desert, locals woke up to find snow covering the sand. This was the first time in 40 years that snowfall had been recorded in this region. It just looks so cool. Now this is a scene that's rarely seen in the world's hottest desert. Fish River. While 2 men were exploring the Saudi Arabian desert, they noticed something strange in the distance. It looked like a river flowing toward them, which was odd in such a dry and hot place. Curious, they decided to take a closer look. To their surprise, what they thought was water wasn't water at all. It was a stream of fish. These fish were alive, moving across the desert sands without any sign of water. It was as though a river had appeared out of nowhere, but only the fish were there, swimming without the need for water. There is literally no clear explanation for how the fish had ended up in the middle of the desert. If any one of you knows, let us know by commenting below. Unusual craftlands. Next up, we are in Yemen's desert, where locals saw an unusual object fall from the sky. It looked like a futuristic airplane, with a design so strange it seemed otherworldly. When the object landed in the sandy terrain, people quickly gathered around, eager to see what it was. They couldn't open it. The craft remained locked tight. Research is still going on, so there is still room for assumption what this thing could be. Do you have any ideas? Ancient Greek art. While working on a research project, an archaeologist was digging up the ground. There, he noticed something green in the soil. He carefully unearthed the object. To his surprise, it was a valuable piece of ancient Greek art. How fascinating! This unexpected discovery is, as it revealed a piece of history far from its origins. The archaeologist eagerly began examining the artifact, excited about the new insights it could provide into ancient Greek culture. What would you do if you found something like this hidden in your backyard? Oil treasure. While exploring a desert, a group of researchers were shocked when they came across something strange in the sand. From a distance, it looked like a dark spot, almost like a black hole. They walked closer to investigate. As they neared the spot, they noticed it wasn't a hole at all. Instead, it was a thick black liquid, bubbling softly from beneath the ground. But upon closer inspection, they realized it wasn't water. It was oil, dark and slick. They hadn't expected to find oil bubbling up in the middle of the desert. Excited, they informed the authorities, who later took control of the area to manage oil extraction more easily. UFO over Cleaver Peak. You know you're having an interesting day when you look up and think, is that a UFO or just an overly ambitious drone? That's exactly what happened around Cleaver Peak when a strange object floated effortlessly between the mountains. It wasn't a bird, a plane, or Superman. This was next level weird. The UFO hovered there for what felt like an eternity, but was probably just a few seconds, like it was checking out the scenery. Then, just as mysteriously as it appeared, it zipped behind the mountains and disappeared, leaving everyone to ask, did we just make first contact or what? Farmers' livestock. In a rural area, farmers were baffled and alarmed when their animals began turning up deceased, partially eaten during the day. As they investigated, a strange creature appeared near the fields. A huge being nearly 10 feet tall, resembling a giant caterpillar with thousands of long, spindly legs. The sight of this peculiar giant crawling through the fields left the farmers both frightened and amazed. They couldn't help but wonder if this bizarre insect was behind the mysterious livestock passing, or if something else was to blame. Mysterious dragon. Who needs a compass when a giant dragon's your guide? While climbing a mountain in China, a man suddenly heard a strange creaking noise nearby, almost like something massive was shifting. This made him curious, so he scanned the area. And there it was. A gigantic, slithering dragon. It was huge, yet surprisingly gentle as it moved across the mountainside. At first the man was startled, but soon he realized the dragon meant no harm. Instead, he marveled at its size and the elegance of its movements. Now that is a story no one would believe unless they saw it with their own eyes. Atakama Discovery. During a camping trip in the Atacama Desert in Chile, two friends spotted a baby velociraptor zipping past right into a decomposed tree trunk. The tiny dinosaur, moving quickly, vanished into the dusty trunk. After that, the friends decided to check the area to capture clearer footage. They approached it carefully, hoping to see the velociraptor again. The sight of the dinosaur really must have turned their ordinary camping trip into an adventure they would never forget. Open discussion. A Saudi military base became the site of an unexpected UFO sighting. The base captains were shocked when they saw an unidentified flying object, and it appeared to have alien occupants. The UFO was unlike any aircraft the captains had ever seen. The craft descended to the ground, probably saw the lurking eyes and recording lenses, and realized it was the best time, and immediately took off, leaving no trace behind. It was like the saucer was never there. Locals believe it had to be from outer space. There is no other explanation for this, but there's been no official word on it. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.